everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Logan if you've never been here before, and I have been wanting to film this video for a super long time and I'm finally doing it and I'm very excited. Also, today is really gross outside, which is fine when I can lay in my bed all day and read, but when I have to walk to class, storms are not fun. But hello, welcome. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, so I hope that wherever you are feeling loved, and I hope that this video, if anything, can bring you just a little bit of joy. I am such a film nerd. I love movies. I love the craft of film. I love the aesthetic, the art of film, and so often on my channel I make videos about movies, and that's what this video is. So as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 favorite scenes in cinema ever. So originally I was going to do my top 10 favorite scenes like ever amongst TV and film, and then I really quickly realized that that is just impossible for me to do because there are too many scenes that I love. So maybe I will do TV in another video, but today is just movies. Also, this list is, I always do disclaimers on my movie videos because everything's always evolving. This list is definitely evolving, and I'm sure I'm gonna watch movies this week and be like, why was this not on the list? Like, that was so dumb of me. So if your favorite scenes are not on this list, leave them in the comments because I'm sure I forgot some that I really love and really admire. But this is my 10 as of now, at this very moment. So every single movie on this list I have seen in full. Some of the movies are my favorite scenes. Some of the scenes I just love from like an aesthetic, like film student, film course vibe. And then some of them I just think like are very culturally significant, which is why they're on here, but I will give those reasons when I list the movies. And then my last disclaimer is that I'm not ranking these by 10, so it's just 10 movies. They're all on the same playing field, just 10 scenes. I just could not rank them, like that's just too hard. So I will be just listing them off in no particular order. Move you back. Okay, I'm gonna move you back just a little bit so we have a little bit more space. Okay. So I'm going to put the scenes down here, or like clips from the scenes, whatever I can find, just so you have a little bit of a reference. Also, spoilers. If you haven't seen these movies, I'm so sorry. You need to watch them. First up, we're starting off with a bang. I think about this scene at least once a day, and it is the Catching Fire sunset scene. Catching Fire is, I think, in my top 10 favorite films ever. If it's not my top 10, it's definitely my top 15. I adore this movie. It is by far the best film in the Hunger Games franchise, and that franchise is just phenomenal. I watch Catching Fire as a standalone movie quite frequently, actually. I just recently watched it a couple weeks ago, and I'll probably watch it again in a few weeks. The sunset scene I love for many reasons. I think it is the definition of a perfect cinematic moment. I think there are very few scenes that I would consider to be like the perfect cinematic moment, and this is one of them. I think it is so beautiful. I think it holds not only a lot for the plot and for the characters, but just like aesthetically, it's just beautiful. Like, it is so, like, look at this. I also really adore sunsets and sunrises. When I was younger, I used to say that my favorite color was orange like the sunset because of Peter Malark, and it's not. It's actually pink. This shade of pink, actually. But I don't know why I needed to share that. But anytime that there's like a sunset in a scene, I just really love it. And I also just really love Peeta, and I love his love for Katniss, and I love Katniss's love for Peeta, and this scene is just like in a nutshell what their relationship is, and I just love it. I just love it. Okay, the next one is my third favorite movie ever, and two scenes from this film actually appear on this list. But the first scene that I'm going to talk about is the Little Women 2019 Greta Gerwig beach scene. I adore Greta Gerwig. Every single one of her movies, they're just so good. And Little Women in particular is my third favorite movie because I think I just love its like depiction of girlhood and womanhood and female friendship and love. Like I just think all of it is so beautiful, and I think aesthetically this movie just like just does things. So the beach scene that I'm talking about though is not the one with Joe and Beth. It is the one that takes place in the past during their childhood, when they're all running on the beach. I love Lori and Joe's banter in this scene. I also love the colors. Like oh, it's just so beautiful. I love the quote. It's just so good, guys. It is just so good. If you have not seen the 2019 Little Women, what are you doing? I saw it like 4 times in theaters. Like, you need to go see it. The next one, it's been trending on TikTok, at least on my TikTok recently, and it is the About Time wedding scene. If you've heard me talk about this movie before, you know that I just adore everything that this film is. I watch it once a year on New Year's. I don't watch it any other time of the year, so it's like I'm waiting a whole another year to watch it because I just watched it. This movie, guys, like I'm gonna talk about the scene in a second, but this movie, I don't think a movie has ever made me cry as much as About Time does. Like, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful, and I think I really love it because it's a movie that just sticks with me all year. Like, I think about this movie and the lessons that it teaches me like almost every day of the year, which is why I watch it on New Year's, because I think it's the perfect way to start a new year. If you have not seen it, you need to watch it. It makes people feel things. It's incredible. But the wedding scene in particular is such a crowd favorite. I think it is beautiful. The song that's playing, the fact that like it's literally like storming at their wedding and they just don't care. Everyone is like the happiest they've ever been. Perfection. Like, it kind of makes me want rain at my wedding, low-key. And I hate rain. Oh my gosh, it is just such a beautiful moment in the film. Next up is the second Little Women scene, and like I said, I'm not saying these in any particular order. The other scene from Little Women that is currently on my top 10 favorite cinema scenes ever is the porch scene, the dance on the porch scene. I don't know what it is, guys. I don't know what it is about this scene. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. Can't put my finger on it. I'm a sucker in general for scenes that involve dancing. Like, I just love scenes like that. I think the part that I love the most is the long shot of like Rory, oh my god, of Lori and Joe dancing. And I also really love the music. I think the music does a lot, and I think their acting, like Saoirse Ronan's and Timothée Chalamet's acting, really contributes to my love of this scene. It just feels so playful and so young, and I just really love it. I just really love it. Oh my gosh, the next one on my list. Okay, so Titanic is my favorite movie. Last weekend I got to see it in 3D in theaters. Seeing it on the big screen, I've seen Titanic so much now that usually I only like tear up because I've just seen it so many times, but seeing it in the theaters was very cathartic. I like sobbed and sobbed and sobbed on multiple occasions. That movie never fails to blow me away, and it was really beautiful to get to experience it in theaters with a lot of young people who have never seen it before on the big screen, including me. But the scene that I'm talking about is, of course, the iconic pose scene. This is one that comes up all the time, I feel like, in like in videos about cinema. This scene is just like cinematic masterpiece. Titanic, to me, I think the reason I'm such a history buff, to me, like Titanic and La La Land are like cinematic masterpieces, and La La Land comes up a little bit later in this list. But Titanic is just a cinematic masterpiece, and this scene is obviously the most iconic, and it's beautiful, and so I have to make it on my list, of course. Okay, this next scene I think is probably the most oddball on this list. I feel like compared to the rest of the scenes, it's kind of randomly in there, but I adore the scene in Clueless when they're taking the photo shoot and the song All Right is playing. I've loved that scene ever since I was little, and it's always like my favorite part to watch during Clueless. I just think it feels just so like high school and so fun. And honestly, like compared to the rest of the movie, it doesn't really fit the vibe as much, but it's still one of my favorite scenes in the film. And I don't know, I think the song too, like every time I hear the song I think of this scene, and I love how they're just all posing and like being kids. I think it's so fun and it's so 90s. Yeah, kind of an oddball on the list, but I'm happy I included it. This next one is from my second favorite movie, La La Land, and like I said, I think this movie is also a cinematic masterpiece, and I also love it because it's just like a love letter to film as an art form and to acting as an art form in particular, which I really resonate with. But the scene that I'm talking about is the Griffith Observatory scene in La La Land. In 2019, I got to visit the Griffith Observatory and I was geeking out, y'all. Like, oh, guys, so good. Also, like, James Dean, hello. But I think this scene, I always hear bad things about this scene. People are always like, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't fit, and I'm like, but like, this scene is everything that this movie is. Like, y'all just aren't getting it. Like, this scene is stunning, and it is so symbolic and just so like literally everything that this movie is this scene. Like, it is just so good. And there are so many scenes that I could talk about from La La Land, and like the color theory of La La Land. Like, I could go into depth, y'all, but this scene hits the spot. It really hits the spot. Just like the thought of La La Land gives me chills. So this next one is another rom-com classic. I adore the movie Love, Rosie. It's in my top 15 films, and there are a lot of scenes that I love plot-wise from this movie, but I think the one that I love cinematically is this montage scene right when Rosie visits Alex, and they're just like vibing, and it's just them, and it's like super early in the morning. I just love that whole sequence. I think it's great, and it always brings me joy every time I watch it. Okay, we have 2 left. Also, I'm realizing that all of these are like modern movies, except one that I haven't said yet isn't technically a modern movie, but like there's so many. Like, I should have like included something from like Singing in the Rain or something. I don't know, they're all modern movies, but I should have included, I love a lot of older movies, and I'm like shocked that I didn't. Like something from like Vertigo or like Singing in the Rain. Like, I really missed out. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm such an old movies fan, but I just like wasn't thinking about those. Weird. Oh, the next one is the swimming scene from Moonlight. If you have not seen Moonlight, you need to stop this video and go watch Moonlight, okay? The scene that I'm talking about is, of course, the swimming scene. I feel like this scene is analyzed a lot and talked about a lot when, or like in reference to this movie. This scene like symbolically does a lot for the plot, and I think like maybe watching it separately from the movie, it doesn't give as much. You have to watch this whole movie, and this scene just, oh, just so good. Particularly the cinematography in this scene I think does a lot symbolically. No, but I adore this scene. I think it's great. I think it's probably one that is going to like go into like the cinematic vault. Like, I feel like when you see videos of movie scenes, like I think this scene is just always going to be on it because I think it's so good. So of course I had to include it. But go watch Moonlight right now. The last scene on the list is a classic, one that probably started, one of the movies that I think started my love of film as a young person, and it is The Wizard of Oz. I grew up on this movie, as I'm sure a lot of other people did. This movie culturally is very significant in the film world. It like really did a lot for film, and I really respect it for that. I was obsessed with Dorothy as a child. I was her for Halloween like maybe 4 years in a row. I don't really know, but I loved her. And the scene that will forever give me chills when I watch it is, of course, when it goes from sepia to color and she enters Oz. This one is also one that is like forever in the cinematic vault. Like, y'all, Wizard of Oz. Okay, so I have 4 honorable mentions because y'all know I couldn't pick just 10. Honorable mention number 1 is from Call Me By Your Name, and it is the scene, of course, the final scene where Timothy's character is literally just sitting and the credits start rolling and I start sobbing. Like, I like can't talk about it because it just gives the plot away. But guys, like, if you've seen that movie, the power that that scene has is remarkable. My other honorable mention is more because it's fun to watch and I always get all giddy when I watch it. It's Mamma Mia 2, and it's the scene where it's her and Bill on the boat and they're singing Why Did It Have to Be Me? Let's just give it a second. Let's just give it a second. Like, chef's kiss. My other 2 honorable mentions are The Greatest Showman. First of all, when you talk about a life-changing movie for our generation, Greatest Showman is one of them. That movie had a hold on everyone. Incredible film. I will always have a special place in my heart for The Greatest Showman. Also on my list of faves. But the scene that I think is so powerful is when Michelle Williams is singing Tightrope, and it's specifically the scene where the camera pans through the windows of the house and she's dancing with like a shadow of a person and then the shadow of the person disappears. My God. Like, I feel for her. Also, that song, probably the best in the soundtrack. Like, Tightrope slays. Absolutely slays. And then my last honorable mention is also from Catching Fire, of course. Oh my gosh, wait, I have another honorable mention that I just now thought of. Okay, so my second to last honorable mention is the scene in, every time I watch this movie, I always say I love this scene. The scene in Catching Fire where they're doing, oh my God, what is it called? With Caesar Flickerman, like the little pre-show or pre-games show. And Katniss walks out and it's a back view of her and the door opens and she walks out and it's like her dress and like all of the lights. Guys, that's like, that is peak. That's like a peak shot right there. My actual for real last honorable mention that I just now thought of is the entirety of the Twilight wedding scene. Guys, if you don't want your wedding to look like that, what are you doing? Like, oh, guys, come on. Okay, so that was my list. I'm sure as soon as I upload this video, I'm going to regret not putting like 100 more scenes on here, and I will keep you posted. So yeah. If you want I hope my camera has not been crooked this whole time. That's really embarrassing. If you want a TV version of this, I can do that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and for being patient, because I am so bad about uploading when school is in like full force, and like it's currently in full force. So I'm very sorry about that. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video.